Okay, so I drew a couple of diagrams. They're not the best, but I hope you can see it. So basically, let's see. This one is the normal distribution if you go side to side, right? And as you can see, it's not halfway there. It's not a halfway cut as you would think it is. Because in badminton doubles, if you have two right-hand players, which is what I'm talking about right now, it's two right-hand players. They both have right hands, so it's limiting because of the way it's structured. If you have a right hand, two right hands, and you're on a symmetric court, which is what the badminton court is, it's symmetric, you're going to run into problems. And because the reach of people, it's more like a circle, you have this type of problem. And as you can see, there are drawbacks, inaccuracies that make it harder to play. This would be what happens if you pushed one player to one side. As you can see, it's also not quite clear. I think it's this one. So the real solution really is to place people at angles, not exactly side to side, but more forward one person and backwards the other person. This way you have kind of this sideways division that uses the best of both. But there's only one way you can do this with two right-handers, and the other one shows the left hand, which is not the best, but it's playable. So what I mean to say is, with all these types of placements, there isn't necessarily a bad placement, is what I'm trying to prove. I'm trying to say that no matter how you stand on the badminton court, there's actually, unless you do something really crazy like run off the court or something, there's actually a whole more, playing wiggle room than you would expect. As long as it works, it's playable. That's basically the rule, and it's not really, if your coach tells you, oh, you have to play side to side, exactly side, no, it's not. Because look, if you play exactly side to side, you end up with this, right? Which is, and this line in the middle that's curved, that's just telling you the division of whose shot it is. And as you can see, exactly side to side is not perfect. Why it's like this? At the top, the forehand player has control of the forehand side behind the other player. In the middle, the backhand player has a better retrieving of smash. And in the front, again, the forehand player has a forehand. But that part is sketchy, so I only drew one line. But really, it's this zone of, there's also this zone of whose it is that kind of like, let me just draw this. So I drew a zone. As you can see, I drew a zone. But typically it's easier for the forehand player to get it, because backhand, it's a little bit harder. Because forehand you can stretch with your lunge, and so it's a little bit easier. Yeah, so I'm just trying to show that, and this is why moving, I always say, like, in badminton you need to move. Because if you don't move you're just standing there. First of all, that is very easy for a good opponent to find the lethal points, to find the weaknesses, because you're just standing there. They don't have to care about, oh, he's moving, he's doing it. No, if you just stand there, it's very easy to find the point that are weak and play there. Because a frozen opponent is easy to predict, right? They're just gonna stay still. That's one reason you want to move, so that the opponent doesn't know where you're going, what you're doing. They will always be playing against an opponent that is moving, that is active, and it's not possible for them to know exactly where you are. If all you do is you stand there, you're not moving at all, it's not hard for them to know where you are, and that's why they can make those shots that are like, oh, he just makes one shot and then there. Another thing I wanted to explore was, again, what the perfect ready position is. And it's more complicated than you think, because you just think, oh yeah, right, level. It's not level, because again, the court is symmetric. You are not symmetric when you play badminton. You're using one hand. If you had two hands and you were playing badminton with two hands, then yes, it would be side by side, equal. If you're playing badminton with a team with two opposite-handed players, then yes, sometimes it is equal. In that case, it becomes very simple, just playing side to side at the same level. That ensures an even distribution. But when you play right hand and right hand, that doesn't happen. You have to understand that no matter what, you're going to have a not perfect coverage of the court. Because the court is perfect, it's symmetric, you will never be symmetric. So it's very important to be cognizant of this, and when you try to play, you have to move. That is the only option when you're playing doubles and you have two right-handed players, or two left-handed players for that matter. You have to move, because when you move, you take away that weakness. You're no longer not covering the court properly. You're covering the court not properly, but you're also covering the court in a way that the opponent doesn't understand. So when you do that, you open up things, you close things. The opponent cannot understand you if you are on the court and you're moving. But you can't move pointlessly, right? You can't just jump. Actually, you can, but most of the time, it would be very bad if you're just moving randomly and expecting your opponent to kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to let him. No, but he has to move with purpose. But moving helps with the inaccuracies of covering the court. Another thing it helps with is it helps you start attacks, because confusion is there. And it helps you start, covering the court in an active way based on what the opponent is doing. Alright, some people, they just go back to the same spot, but they don't realize that where the opponent is and what the opponent is doing at that time is crucial to where you want to be. You're not going to be, oh, I'm going to be here because it's halfway between the line. That doesn't matter. It's not the perfect spot. I showed you it's not the perfect spot. Right here, right? I just showed you this is not the perfect spot side to side. It's curved, jagged. you have to make sure that you react based on where the opponent is. Put your racket where you think it's going to need to be before the shot comes. That's the ready position. A lot of people, they don't do the ready position. I don't even know if I do the ready position, but I'm not a professional player. If you're a professional player and trying to be the best, you definitely have to get used to putting your racket in the perfect ready position. When they clear, you clear and then you back to ready position. So that's what I wanted to say basically, is I wanted to question and kind of put friction in the ideas of defense in badminton, because to me, it's not the way that badminton is being played right now. The understanding of the game is not there because, for instance, just looking at how people defend, really, you get to watch them, and they always play this defense that is side to side and whatnot, and they don't move, making the opponent easy to attack, and they don't focus on strategy as much as just smashing. And the smash one was everything actually, and so there's a lot of problems with badminton. Also, it's like again, just errors in fundamental IQ. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go side to side. It's fine to go side to side, but you have to know that you're not doing the most efficient way. And also, you have to know that if you don't move, if you just side to side and you don't move, it's easier for them to smash, and then you lose the point. So, that's it. What else do I need to say? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I showed you a bunch of stuff on, where you can go. Coverage, quick coverage. So again, think about 45 degrees, a little bit off. If you want to have a perfect defense, you need to be a little bit off. You need to be a little bit shifted. You need to have the front person is a little bit more in front, the back person is a little bit more behind, so that they can cover the back if they need to. It's all about these. It's like a maximization problem, right? You're kind of maximizing your lethal opportunities. And as a team, you have to kind of delegate. Okay, where am I gonna go right here? Where am I gonna go in this position? Here, 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 here. I'm gonna go to these places. And if he clears, I'm gonna go there. He's gonna go there. Okay, you're gonna turn. You're gonna switch. So again, all these different types of things you play with are really gonna help you become a better player, especially since you're trying to make your opponent unconfident about where you're gonna be. If the opponent can know exactly where you are, it's not bad. It's not easy to. It's not hard to play the correct shot and just destroy you. Off shuttle movement, where you're not just hitting the shuttle, is very important for you to get better. And yeah, just you definitely, if you're playing right hand and left hand, you're playing a pair that is half left-handed, half right-handed. Of course, that is a different story because there is symmetry there. There is symmetry, and so everything becomes simple enough. But when you have two right-handers, it's not necessarily worse. You have the opportunity to confuse a lot of it, is because And you have two players that look exactly the same, and then they kind of hit in different ways. And also, two right-handers is not bad. It's just different. It's not bad. How you play is the point. It's not about, oh, I'm two right-handers, one left, one right. It's not that way. The way is depends on the team. Okay, depends on the team. But again, if you want to play right hand, you have to come up with new theory, new idea on how to prove these, and you have to come up with new theory on how to divide the court up, because so many error come from, oh, he's yours, he's yours, he's yours, he's yours. So find out, try. I'm not saying that I know the way or anything, but it just, I had to expose this flaw in current badminton. I had to expose this flaw in modern badminton because it's a huge flaw. When the teamwork is all wrong, everything is wrong because they don't understand the basics, and it's all wrong, and people play is not right. It looks okay, but it's not enough understanding of movement, of court coverage. Court coverage. They don't stand in the right place, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Thank you.